A book review that might have just changed our family for the better in the most significant way when it comes to fussy eating. And imagine the kids gleefully, willingly, delightedly joining you in the kitchen to clean up the dinner time mess. Hello and welcome to the Happy Families podcast. Real parenting solutions every day on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. This is the day where we unpack the week that was. We look at what worked and what didn't, and we try to share with you a take-home message to help your family be happier. Kylie, today you're going to kick us off with, a book review, because this may just have changed the game for our fussy eating 10-year-old.
Did you know your tummy is alive?
You tell me often that it makes a lot of noise.
You have trillions of friends inside. Not your school friends, silly. Bacteria friends.
It sounds to me like you're reading a children's book.
I am. This book was sent to you recently. It's called The Friends You Don't Know You Have by Lainey and Jordan Oldfield. Their teenage daughter, Lila, actually illustrated these beautiful animations throughout the pages. And it's actually the first book in a series of books on gut health for children. So aimed at 10 years and younger. And it's beautifully illustrated, and it simply explains to children at their level the special gut friends that they have in their tummy and how they can access the superpowers that these bacteria give our body for healthy well-being and living. So you had it sitting on your floor in the office for weeks.
Yeah, literally. It's a kid's book. I just thought if I leave it there, it's big, it's colourful. Emily will eventually pick it up and have a look at it, or she won't. I did point it out to her once or twice, but no pressure, because I don't want to.
The reality is, if we had have come in and said, Em, let's sit down and read this book.
Here's a book that you need to read about your fussy eating.
There is no way we would have had any buy-in whatsoever.
Yep.
But what I love about just even that acknowledgement is that we prime our kids all the time by leaving things within their view. This took weeks for her to actually pick up, but when she did, she was hooked.
Yep.
She picked it up, she started flicking through the pages, and she realised, I could read this book. Mm-hmm. She took it away, and about half an hour later she came back and she said, Mum, do you know I've got friends in my tummy? Mm-hmm. And I said, really? And she said, and they have names.
Right.
There's Lacey, Biffy, Sia and Streppy. And did you know there's certain foods that make them super happy?
Right.
So she started telling me the kinds of foods they like. She told me that Lacey was her favourite, and that Lacey's favourite foods were Vegemite, sourdough bread, kombucha, brown rice, sweet potato, rolled oats, sauerkraut, popcorn and beetroot.
She doesn't eat too many of those.
When you list it off like that, popcorn's probably
that's what I was thinking.
Safest bet, right? Yeah. She used to eat Vegemite, but she doesn't like it a lot these days. But her big sister has started making sourdough bread. So she found that was actually a really easy addition to add to her diet. Mm-hmm. So she only has a small piece, but she decided that she'd start trying sourdough with some Vegemite on it. And the book obviously then goes through the other bacteria and the foods that they like. But what I love about it is at the end, it says, if food is what they want, then food is what they'll get. Let's choose one new food from each friend's favourite food list and give it a whirl this week. So it kind of provides a little bit of a challenge. So I didn't have to say anything.
Right.
The book did all the work for me.
Yep.
She pulled up the list and she said, okay, Mum, I'm going to try pomegranates, sourdough, alfalfa sprouts, and I can't remember the other food off the top of my head now. And she actually did it without me having to have angst with her or, bribe her or challenge her or anything like that. This one book has opened her eyes to the fact that there are things that she can do to help her body be healthier and to feel better, and she's done it.
I was blown away when she sat down at the table to eat with us. One of the challenges with kids that don't want to eat the foods that you're putting out is you kind of feel, well, they don't want to eat anything because they don't want to eat our meals. But she's pretty happy to eat a whole lot of foods. She just likes them to look like a bento box on her plate. She doesn't want anything to be mixed. But she sat down the other day with like half a plate of alfalfa sprouts, which is, I'm the only one in the house that eats them, and I kind of like the fact that they're there whenever I need them. And I can't get access to the alfalfa sprouts anymore because she keeps on eating all the sprouts. We need to start growing them. But clearly the book has had an impact. Like you said, it's one in a series, The Friends You Don't Know You Have by Lainey and Jordan Oldfield. So we'll link to that in the show notes. The real take-home message is force creates resistance.
Yeah.
Like if you try and make your kids eat, as we have tried for so many years.
If I had to put alfalfa sprouts on her plate unannounced,
Yes.
holy smokes.
Yeah, but instead she reads it in the book and she's willing to give it a crack. And because she feels like she's in the driver's seat of her diet, just a massive, massive shift over the last week or so.
So I guess there's a couple of take-homes. I mean, obviously there's the acknowledgement that if we find good resources for our kids, they can actually be the teachers without us having to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Secondly,
And she did, didn't she? I mean, she really wanted to teach you about what her gut needs.
yeah.
Yeah.
But secondly, sometimes it takes time. And the more we pressure and the more we force things, the less likely we are to have positive outcomes. But just priming our kids by leaving a book around that will eventually pique their interest, or have it open even on your coffee table, somewhere where they can see it multiple times before it actually they go, oh, hang on a sec. So my take-home message is twofold. Number one, if you can find a resource that will do your job, the children are probably going to listen to it much more.
Especially if you can then, if they willingly come to you and say, hey, look what I learned.
That's exactly right. And number two, sometimes it takes the help of mum and dad to strategically place things in their children's path for them to be able to take from it the things that we need them to.
Up next, how you can get the kids actively, willingly, and fully engaged in cleaning up the kitchen after dinner. Okay, Kylie, you've had tremendous success with our daughter and her gut friends, the friends that she doesn't know that she has. I had a big win this week. This is something that we've done consistently through the years, but I wanted to re-emphasize it in today's I'll Do Better Tomorrow because it was just so delightfully impactful. I just had the coolest experience. We have talked about regularly doing chores, tasks, family responsibilities together. And we've often discussed this idea of all in. All in means we're all in the kitchen, or we're all in the garden weeding, or we're all in whatever space it is that needs cleaning up. Our second eldest daughter created a game years ago, and they've decided it's a terrible name for the game. We've got to come up with something better for it, but the kids call it word association. All they do is they come up with a theme, and then while they're doing the dishes or doing whatever task or responsibility is theirs, they have to come up with, in order, as many songs as they possibly can that refer to that theme.
So when you say in order, they take turns in order.
So it's Abby, then it's Annie, then it's Lily, then it's back to Abby again, or whoever's in the kitchen doing it.
And the person who is the first one to not be able to add to the list
is they're out.
They're out.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I find the game annoying because they want to do like songs on the Wicked soundtrack. It's like, well, how many songs are on the Wicked soundtrack? And since you all know the Wicked soundtrack off by heart, this is going to be a pretty boring game.
Don't.
They do. Or Taylor Swift songs. They'll do Taylor Swift songs and then they'll
do Disney, or they'll do
Disney
love songs. Or
and it's like, no, there's bajillions of those songs and I don't know. It annoys me. It annoys me. But the other night, I decided that I was going to play word association with them because there was a big cleanup in the kitchen that was required, and I knew that we needed to pull out all stops. And so they wanted to do love. And I'm like, you do love all the time, and there's a bajillion love songs. What about transportation? Modes of transportation. Could we do a word association song list, modes of transportation? And the kids are like,
that's boring.
Yeah, like they really complained. We cleaned the kitchen and the dining room and the rest of the house.
And you were still going.
For about 40 minutes. And it was still going.
And what was really cool, it was one of the first times
so much fun.
Emily has joined in.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And she came out with some great songs.
There are so many songs that involve modes of transportation. One of the first ones that Emily came up with was I Would Walk 500 Miles. But the thing is, as soon as someone says the song, the whole family just bursts into song.
Yep.
And I mean, the neighbours must think, what in the world is going on in that house? Because every 15 seconds there's a new song. But it's just so simple and it's so much fun and it makes the task completely invisible. Like we're all in the kitchen and yeah, we're doing the dishes, but no one's thinking about the dishes. Everyone's thinking about the game.
And no one's fighting because they're too busy singing.
Yeah, unless they're fighting about whether or not that song really does fit the theme.
Well, that was only you.
That's true. I do get a bit competitive around this stuff. Former radio announcer here, we need to make sure that everything fits. But it's so funny as well because especially when you've got teenagers, they know every song lyric to every song that's important to them. And so I thought I was really clever. I came up with Ed Sheeran when he's got that I'm on my way, driving at 90, listening to Tiny Dancer, the Castle on Hill song, you know, the one. I felt like I was so clever for coming up with that one. And then these kids, they're singing this song with the most obscure reference to a car or to whatever. So much fun, so much laughter, and it made doing a really big job delightful rather than drudgery. So my take-home message literally is create games, make up your own games, have fun, steal our games, doesn't really matter. When you get in there and you do stuff together and when you're having fun and playing games, the chore kind of disappears into invisibility because it's really about time together now rather than getting the kitchen tidy. So, therefore, we really hope that the ideas that we shared with you today will help to make your family happier. We will link to the book, The Friends You Don't Know You Have, in the show notes. And, I don't know, good luck playing word associations or some other game that works for you and your family when you next have to do some chores and carry out all those housekeeping responsibilities. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rollon from Bridge Media. For more information and resources about making your family happier, please visit us at happyfamilies.com.au and have a great weekend.